This is probably going to ruffle some feathers by going against some of the most common decluttering advice out there, but I don't care because there is some time-sensitive information that you need to know about, and I want to help you insulate yourself against questionable choices made by big corporations without the consent of the consumer. There is a lot of great decluttering advice out there, but there's also some really bad advice that I think has caused a lot of remorse and upset for some people that have followed it trustingly. And yes, I am talking about the way one of the first things people are encouraged to get rid of when looking to downsize or declutter is all that pesky physical media. The CDs, the VHS tapes, the DVDs, the books. While what I'm about to share with you did not shock me when I heard it, it did serve as a stark reminder of why I have always made a point of thrifting, sourcing, and hanging on to physical media that is important to me. And I'll definitely continue to do so in the future after the situation has come to light. So, Amazon, who owns Kindle and the Kindle universe, is quietly implementing something that will impact Kindle digital book ownership rights. Starting in a few days on February 26th, Amazon is removing the download and transfer via USB option. Sorry, a cat in a box. Starting in a few days on February 26th, Amazon is removing the download and transfer via USB option from their site. From what I've gathered, this means that despite having purchased a digital copy of a book, you could no longer manually download and back up your purchased digital Kindle books after that date, the 26th. So you'll not be able to transfer your digital book onto a hard drive or your computer or some other non-Kindle e-reader or device and have an untouchable, unalterable, undeletable by anyone but you offline copy. Now, I do not have a Kindle e-reader, but I do use the Kindle app on my iPad. And I have quite a few books on there that I've accumulated over the years. And this means that I might be, screwed for lack of a better word when it comes to preserving those particular books. Because as of the time I'm releasing this video, I cannot find any information on how iPad or iPhone app users can download our books and get a savable copy off the Kindle app. Now, supposedly this change is not going to alter your ability to read the books you've already got in your library or on Kindle Unlimited, but that's not the point. This is about ownership rights. So if you happen to have some information on this topic that would be useful to myself or to anyone else in the comment section who uses the app in particular, please let us know below because the clock is ticking on this one. My senior cat is playing around in the corner of the room. If you're a Kindle device user and this is the first time you're hearing about this and you're like, oh geez, what do? I am not the person to walk you through that process because like I said, I don't have one of these devices, but I will link a couple videos for you below in the drop down that have more thorough information about the technicalities surrounding how to download and manage your books quickly before the deadline. I just wanted to get this information out to any of my viewers who might be big Kindle people and haven't heard about this since it's been kept kind of hush-hush until now. And I also wanted to touch on the further implications of this digital media predicament. Some people are saying there might be a lawsuit about this later. Some people are saying you can still download the books, you just have to take a more circuitous route in the future. The actual specifics surrounding this situation are not particularly clear. But in a way, it doesn't really matter because the fact that we're even having this conversation at all is, in my eyes, enough to remind me personally why owning and curating a physical media collection of music, movies, and books is so important. I absolutely love using my Kindle app, but I've always had this feeling that if something is not physically in my hand, I can't trust that I truly own it or that it is sovereign. Yes, it's convenient and portable, and digital book copies tend to be cheaper than physical. Licensing issues, file restrictions, or sudden platform changes like this one can make things just disappear. And I don't like the feeling that a digital book could just be edited or altered at any time without our knowledge. It's the same problem I have with digital dictionaries. I don't like the possibility that someday a book might suddenly just be deemed unacceptable by whatever powers might be, or even outright banned, and it could just disappear from my digital library without a trace or without my consent. And the same goes for movies or music or TV shows, especially those about controversial or difficult subjects. I even like to pick up physical copies of reference books, like dictionaries, when I find them, because I don't like the way that arbitrary changes have been made to certain definitions over time. If you're a returning viewer, you'll remember that I've questioned common decluttering advice before. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Jenna, and I usually talk about my 1800s home and garden here on this channel, including thrifting and decorating. But today's video is a bit of a sidetrack given the immediacy of this change and its potential impact on the way we buy and handle physical media. In that vein, my feelings about this issue reflect my general wariness of decluttering impulsively or without care, because often books and physical media are something that is readily targeted as something to just get rid of. The implication being that you can always just get a digital copy. Well, maybe not. And of course we can't keep everything. That's not what I'm saying. But I do think there's a way to keep and curate a collection of things that are really important and valuable to you, even if you're living in a small space. And I think there is a real value in doing so. I personally regret getting rid of some of the books that I've moved on from throughout the years, which I feel is rarely talked about by decluttering gurus. And of course, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I just want to encourage you to, well, if you're a Kindle book consumer, I want to encourage you to consider or look into the situation further to determine where you stand and how it might affect you now or going forward. And if you're someone who has been considering aggressively downsizing and decluttering your physical media, maybe this situation and discussion will give you pause and make you think it over a little bit more carefully. What are your thoughts about this situation or about physical versus digital media? Do you like both? Do you consider your digital media more of a long-term rental? Do you keep duplicates like I do sometimes? Or does this whole thing just not bother you at all? I'd love to know. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you in the next video.